One issue I've noticed with lawyers is that lawyers want you to give them a perfect assistant that knows everything and gets everything right with very little direction and training. And if the assistant isn't perfect, they want someone else at the firm to fix them. I don't know if you've heard any of that.
Yeah. I mean, I think I don't necessarily fault lawyers for that. I think sometimes it's hard to see the value in spending the time working with your assistant and building your team to make it the way that you want and the way that you like it, just because you're pulled in so many other directions with the legal work. So it is hard to set aside time to do that, but it's critical time, I would say, in managing your team and supporting your team. But I can also understand how sometimes in the practice of law, it just feels like you're pulled in a million different directions. How do you know how to prioritize? And I would say that making a successful team should be your number one priority. So that, because it takes a lot of that weight and a lot of that stress on you. But when you're in the whirlwind and you're responding to things, sometimes it's just hard to make the time for it. And so, I get it. To be a leader, I think you have to set clear expectations for people. They need to know and want to know what you want from them. Nobody on your team ever wants to let you down. Generally, I mean, that's, people like to be good at their jobs and people like to succeed and be part of a successful team. And the way that people know if they're doing a good job is if you tell them. And the way that they know how to do a good job is that you tell them when they're not doing exactly what you want. The other thing is being positive. I mean, I'm big about being positive. Even when there's something that's not exactly right or something that's not going exactly our way, I try to talk about it in a positive way. So it's not like, how could you do this? What is wrong with you? When something weird happens or something goes wrong, whenever you're talking about it with someone, nobody's exploding, nobody's, being dramatic. It's a very matter-of-fact conversation and it's factual, right? It's, this is what happened. This is what was wrong with it. This is how we're going to prevent it in the future. I also find that talking to your team about how they think they should prevent it in the future gives people more agency. If people have agency on a team, they're more likely to be committed to the end result and to the team itself. I think that my team, we're all very close to each other, which means that we can talk really honestly to each other about, when something's going wrong. People can tell me on my team without any fear that, hey, Mallorie, you didn't give me instructions. I have no idea what you're talking about. Can you help me here? Or tell me, hey, I totally screwed this up. Like, I missed this deadline. It was my mistake. It was my bad. And immediately my response is, how could you do this to me? I mean, that's not what the response. The response is, okay, here's how we're going to fix it. And then once we fixed it, we talk about how do we prevent this from happening in the future. And it's not in a negative way. It's in a, we all know we screwed up. What do we do to make sure this doesn't happen? It goes to trust. If they don't trust the team leader, then you can't be a team. And if you don't trust the people that work for you, you can't be a team. It's all about trust.
And I think this is the one that's critical for buy-in, and you can't fake it. They have to believe that you are holding them these expectations because you care about them. You want to make them better, and you want to make your team better.
Mm-hmm.
And it's as much for their benefit as it is for yours. And you have to get that kind of buy-in. So when we're trying to do something, because I want you to succeed, I want you to be great, I want you to get promoted, I want you to make more money, I want you to have a great career. And that's when people believe that you're coaching them up rather than putting them down, you can hold people to much higher standards.
Having your team's back is a really, really critical part of being a leader. Michael, I worked with you, I think 8 or 9 years now. And I was one of the people that you trained about personal injury when I first started with you, or litigation. I didn't think I wanted to be a litigator. And you trained me and helped me grow and really invested in me. But you've always, always had my back, no matter what happened, no matter what the situation was. You don't badmouth me to other people. If I'm doing something crazy, you would never, and you don't. But if something goes wrong, it's always us against someone else. It's never, and if you have a problem with something I did, you'll tell me, but to the world, it's us against the world. Yes. And it's the same with all people on your staff. I don't badmouth my paralegals to other people. There's nothing badmouth. I love them. But if there was, I wouldn't badmouth them to other people. There's attorneys that blame their paralegal for everything. Oh, my paralegal didn't do whatever. Oh, they didn't do this. They didn't do that. And, that's after a while it feels like nobody has my back. I mean,
Yeah.
so it's us against everybody else. Now, it doesn't mean that, if there's something going on, we don't talk about it, or something went wrong. It's not that, like, we ignore it, but when it's against the outside world, we always have each other's back no matter what. And that's a really critical part of being a good leader.